Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling Podcast. Today, we're joined by Roger Martin. He is a head honcho at Thrive More, and that's what I want to do. I want to thrive. Roger, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So, why don't we start off with why don't you define what Thrive means?
Yep. So, Thrive More Brands is our umbrella company that underneath we sit our health and wellness businesses. So we have a boxing for fitness group fitness franchise, about 60 locations. We have an infrared sauna concept, which is infrared sauna studios, where you have a private room, and there are 8 different rooms where you can go in to do a private infrared sauna session, and that's a franchise, and we're building like 60 this year of those. And then we have a nutritional company along with an outbound sales company that helps our franchises grow membership and do their pre-launches. And so that's under the banner of Thrive More. I coincidentally have a podcast like you called the Thrive More Podcast with Roger Martin. But I think the word thrive, to me, thrive means that you are excelling. You're taking your God-given gifts and you're applying those so that you don't live a good life, you live an exceptional life. You're thriving. And so many people today, I think they settle for surviving, right? Sustaining. And we are meant to thrive. We have amazing brains and we have these unbelievable bodies and we should be thriving. And so just really put that umbrella over all of our brands. And it's just a concept that I believe in 100% in life, that we're here for a good time, but not a long time. So let's make the most of it.
Yeah, because quite literally, I just got off stage doing a presentation, and one of the things that's parting notes was, there was a young father in the room, and he's got like the 6-year-old son, and it's like when we are babies, we are magnificent, and somewhere along the journey, we lose that God-given right that we have to thrive, and we think we have to settle, or we're less than. And that brings me to, you're in the franchise business and you've got this amazing concept. Let's pick Rockbox. And you've got somebody that says, I want to have one of these things, but they bring their psychology to the party, not just their hopes and dreams. So how do you balance that? You can have someone that actually in their heart believes that they are destined to thrive no matter what happens, they're going to succeed. And other people, the world is out to get me, even though they may have a veneer of, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. What you just described is victim mentality, right? Victimhood. And I led off our last summit. So we bring together all of our franchisees from all over the nation into a summit every year. And I led off my initial speech to a couple hundred people on the fact that victim mentality is not allowed in our culture. It is ostracized in our culture, and we will not support it, because I've seen too many people in this world, as I'm sure you have too. Everything is somebody else's fault, and they're not taking responsibility for themselves. And as a CEO of multiple brands, one of my favorite sayings is, it may not be my fault, but it's my responsibility.
Right.
Maybe not my fault, but it's my responsibility. And if people will start to, and even, and I say this to our franchise prospects, like we have franchisee prospects, we're going to have, within 3 days from now, we'll have 7 or 8 different groups come in to decide if they want to be part of our business. And I tell them straight up, this is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. It is going to get harder before it gets easier. It always is that way. And there'll be ups and downs, but it's incredibly rewarding if you stick to it and you push through. But you have to own it. You have to take responsibility for your actions. And even though we're going to give you all the support that a franchise offers, and we do way more than the average franchisor does from a support perspective, but even with all that, you've got to be the person that owns that business and drives sales and drives memberships, retains those members, and ascends those members to a higher level of spend. You can't. Go ahead.
No, that's like absolutely. And we're going to talk about sales in a little while.
Yeah.
But very much, it's so easy, especially the smarter you are, is to go, yeah, Roger, but I could do it better. And so how do you get people to just go, this is a proven methodology, just follow it as it was intended with the right mindset, and you're going to be successful. As soon as you start changing it or doing these activities that are really comfortable for you and not doing the others, that there's going to be problems. So I'm sure you kind of mentioned that along the journey, but how do you really instill it in them that we want you to succeed? This is a formula for success. Don't get in the way of your own success.
Yeah. We're very deliberate during initial training to say no genius attacks the first 6 months. So this play, this program, this system, they bought a system, it works, and it works the way that we prescribe it. And so run this system, run this business operational system. If in 6 months after you've launched and you're running your business, you have a great idea, because we may not have thought about it. It may be a fantastic idea. Then here's the proper way to run that up the channels, and we'll immediately get back to you. And if you want to then formally test it in your location, we may test it in a couple of our affiliate-owned locations, which is basically either my money in my store or my partner's money in her store. And we will, we'll test that. And if it works, then we'll roll it out to the system. But usually people, I don't know how else to say this, but they'll literally break their own business trying to find the best way, when you have a great way to do something. A good business, a great business, is a little bit boring because it's very predictable.
Yeah.
And sometimes that predictability makes people think that, oh, I'm missing out. There's more. I could, and there could be. But more often than not, we find when you start to do crazy things and crazy ideas, you're not going to be successful.
I just wanted to talk to you, like.
Actually, I'm on a live podcast streaming live right now.
Really?
So I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Roger. I mean, that's just the beauty of doing something live. So I'm at this event where I just got off the stage. They gave me a conference room for this. And so, yeah, so absolutely. It's good to be loved by your fans.
Yeah, you got to love it, man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
So in society, we are very much trained that, Roger, it's not my fault. It must be the economy, the this, the that. And so part of your job, I would suspect, as a franchisor, is trying to keep people in the right headspace, because it is a tough thing. Entrepreneurship is like there's this lyric from a song called, keep on kicking at the darkness till it bleeds daylight, which is so visceral, but pretty much you need to keep on going till you reach that level of success, or so much success comes in that causes problems as well. But you got to keep on going. But without the right mindset, that's tough to do. So how do you instill that? So you got the business processes, but how do you get people to have that self-care and that right mental attitude?
A lot of coaching, a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom calls, and we get out in the field a lot. Put a lot of miles on the odometer, so to speak, flying or driving or traveling to see our franchisees, because again, we're human beings, and because we're human beings means that we're going to have good days and we're going to have bad days, and we want to continually coach up our franchisees, who honestly then have to coach up their staff. Their general manager, their head trainer. If we're talking about Rockbox Fitness, then their trainers, their front desk staff, and even their members, who may be having a tough day. So it all starts, leadership starts at the top. We all know that. That's a cliche, but it's true. Leadership starts at the top, because he or she, the leader, sets the tone for the rest of the organization, and the rest of the organization will most often mimic what the leader is doing. We all want leaders. I mean, Lord knows in this country, we need some better leaders, right? I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. We need some better leaders. And we all want leaders. We want to be led, if it's in the right direction, and it's by a positive human being who sees the potential in us or our country or our business, whatever it is. But it does start at the top, and that mental health that you talked about, the self-care, that's around a mindset. And it's not an event. It's a journey. Like, you have to continually go back there and check in and help and coach through and give concrete examples of how you've experienced the same thing, and here's what I did to get through that. I think a lot of people, and a lot of people love to give their opinions. Well, we know what opinions are like, right? And so a lot of people like to give their opinions versus just share your experience. Just share your experience, and me as the recipient, I'll take from your experience on how I'm going to apply that to my business or my life or whatever it may be. Too many people want to share their opinions, and that's great. But if you haven't really been there, done that, your opinion's not going to be heavily weighed.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I find to be true is that people typically have three faces that they have. They've got this face they show the outside world. Either look at me, I'm pretty, I'm amazing, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, or I'm a victim, people are out to get me, whatever that illusion that you show. The second one is a delusion of who we think we are. Like, for example, I think I'm a lot funnier than I actually am. And then we've got that third space, which is the authentic self, who we are.
Yeah.
And so, how does that statement that we have three faces, how does that jive with your world? Does it make sense, not make sense to you, Roger?
Yeah. And let's go right back to the beginning where you said, how would you define thriving? Thriving is when your authentic self is who you show up as.
True that.
Yeah. That's when you are truly an authentic person and living an authentic, genuine life and with your flaws, right? With your idiosyncrasies, everything, you show up every day as your authentic self. To me, that's thriving. And you're always continuing to try to be 1% better and improve day after day after day and learn and continually learn. But it's thriving to me is just, man, drop the facade, turn off the Instagram filter, and just be who you are. And, I'll share with you, a couple of my business heroes, if you will. And I grew up in corporate America. So remember, I was an entrepreneur from 2017 till now. And, I hope for the rest of my life because I love this. But I spent 25 years in the pharmaceutical business, which is a very buttoned up, regulated industry, all about hierarchy and bigger offices and corner offices and all that crap. And I grew up in that. And my hero, really, from a business perspective, is Dana White, who is the president of the UFC, of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Brilliant guy.
Because that guy, brilliant, right? But does it in his own authentic way. Like, he doesn't have a filter. He doesn't, and I'm not saying you have to swear, even though I do swear a lot, but I'm not saying you have to swear everywhere and you have to, be quite as caustic as he can be. But talk about a guy that's like, I'm going to do it my way, this way. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to work my tail out. I'm going to work endless hours, whatever it takes. I'm going to build something that never existed before at this level, but I'm doing it in my authentic voice. Like, I love that. And I think, you're seeing the same thing with Elon Musk. And yes, it gets these guys into trouble sometimes, but I'll take that. I'll take the backlash to be my authentic self and to live the life that I feel I was destined to live, to thrive, versus having this BS facade of what I'm trying to hope people think I am.
Absolutely, because there's so much mental horsepower used to maintain the facade. And not only the one for others, but the facade we have for ourselves. And when we so here's my prescription to most people is like, uncover your purpose in life so you know where you're heading. Figure out who you truly are in terms of values and the criteria our mind uses. And that gives you the foundation that you need. And then you can build something amazing along that journey. And every ounce of your being is focused towards that. Whereas when you go, oh, I want people to perceive me as this, and that's not authentic, it's not in a foundation that is just, can you be successful that way? Absolutely. But it's so much easier when you can just be you and execute in that way. And that way, people that love you for who you are as opposed to who you're pretending to be.
You said, can you be successful that way? Maybe in the short term, but man, it's a lie that you're talking about. Like, you're speaking about carrying this lie, and we all have these little lies we carry. But when you're not being your true authentic self, to carry the weight of that lie, of the weight of keeping that up, of keeping up that appearance, at some point that breaks your back. At some point.
Yeah.
And man, if the listeners can get any benefit from this, I would say start living your authentic life. Yes, you're going to lose some friends. They weren't your real friends to begin with. Yes, you're going to have some family members that will root against you. It's sad but true. But live your authentic life, because you'll find your tribe. They will find you, actually. The crazy thing is they will find you. It's just the way the universe works. But you got to be your authentic self.
And so I'll just kind of tweak something that you said, that you can't truly be successful in if you're living that lie or doing something that isn't in alignment. But what I find is that you can be successful, but you're not going to be happy and you're going to be unsatisfied. You and I both know a ton of people that basically there's a song from the Talking Heads. This is not my beautiful wife. This is not my beautiful house. Like, how did I get here? And they get that crisis of trying to redefine themselves. And I think if we can help them find their authentic selves, then it just makes life so much easier. And you also become that amazing role model for your kids, because you're walking your talk. And I think that's what great leaders do, is even if you're flawed, you're authentically you. And so how do you balance right now? You've got 3 franchisees. They're all under the one umbrella, but the people that come to, let's say, Rockbox versus the infrared business, are they different creatures that come to that, or are they similar people just being attracted to one thing versus another?
Yeah, very similar avatar, because it's a person who is interested in self-care, in improving their fitness, which with fitness comes confidence. People always say, you have to have a strong mind and a strong body. And I'm of the belief, if you have a strong body, you will have a strong mind, because your body will never lie to you. It will always tell you how it feels, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And so our avatar for the different franchises that we have, the different brands, is really that more higher end, somebody that's willing to invest a couple $100 a month into their fitness or into their self-care, their recovery, which the infrared sauna and red light therapy that we offer separately at Beamlight Sauna offers a recovery aspect. Yes. People that are willing to do that, usually, because they're still spending out of different shares of their wallet, right? Recovery is a different share than fitness, just like groceries and just like car payment are different shares of the wallet. And so we want to get as much share of wallet as we can that adds value to the customer, to that person. So that same person may go work out at Rockbox at 5:30 at night and then drive directly over or walk over to a Beamlight Sauna location and do a 40-minute infrared sauna session to recover, to relieve the soreness, flush out the toxins. Same person, because they're interested in their whole body, if you will.
Superb. And I'll just add one thing to your thing, which you probably it was unsaid, but I find that, mind, body, spirit is part of one system. And if you're suffering from a spiritual anxiety, a good workout will do wonders. If you are not feeling like a workout, a good mindset will kind of get you to go take that walk. So if you can impact any one of those 3, you impact the other 2. And I think that's sometimes we lose focus of that. Yep. So Roger, you have this amazing business, but you also hit these roadblocks. Can you share with us, one of those areas where you were like, what the hell am I doing here? And it might've been in this new life as an entrepreneur, or maybe in corporate America or earlier on. Can you share one of those moments where you kind of hit those crossroads, where you start doubting, and A, what was going on, and B, what did you do to overcome that to get back on the path that you wanted to be on?
Yeah. Man, we only have a few minutes, so that's, I could tell you 5,000 things that have happened as an entrepreneur, because it is a rocky road. But again, still incredibly rewarding, and I love it. I wouldn't change anything about it. Every trial and tribulation makes you a better person. But there were certainly times when I started Rockbox after leaving corporate America. So remember, I was in a C-suite. I was a chief operating officer, great salary and stock options and benefits and everything you can imagine. And I walked away from all that. So on a Monday, I did a succession plan and made sure I finished impeccably. But on a Monday, I woke up, no salary, no health insurance, no car, no company car, no stock options, all that. I was gone. And then like 2 days later, I'm building the first flagship rock box with my business partner that had 2 other Boxing for Fitness studios, but we renamed them and rebranded everything when we did Rockbox. And when we were building the studio, we did some of the stuff on our own just to save some money. We don't do that anymore. We have contractors do it all, but we were literally shoving, just real quickly, we were shoving these steel girders up into the rafters of this commercial space that we had rented, and so that we could hang the chain for the boxing bags, because it's boxing, and then the other half is functional fitness, like a boot camp. And as I'm on the ground, we have these 2 little scaffoldings, and there's a guy on top, my partner's on top, there's a guy in the middle that still works for us, and then I'm on the bottom shoving this 400-pound steel girder up, at an angle so it would go. And as I finally have to let go of it, Umar, as I let go of it, because they had to keep going up into the ceiling, I'm kind of looking at the butt end of it. I'm thinking, if they let that go, I'm dead. That's coming right back through my skull. And then all I could think of was, what the hell am I doing here? 3 days ago, I had a job and a salary that people would kill for.
Yeah.
I had the life of luxury. It was not that hard because I'd, mastered the job. What the hell am I doing here, getting filthy dirty, putting steel up in a ceiling? But that's all part of the journey. I wouldn't trade that, at all. And then there were other, building that whole thing. I mean, it brought me to my knees. And then trying to find, crack the code on membership sales and crack the code on doing a good, successful pre-launch so that when we open new studios, new franchises, they would open successfully with cash flow. At every
Without
time.
head injuries.
What's that now?
Without head injuries.
Exactly.
All right, Roger, I'm going to let you go because I know you got another appointment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I've got your mobile number. I'm going to reach out, send you a message. Good luck on the next podcast, and look forward to seeing one of those things in Toronto, Canada.
I love it. Man. Thank you so much. Have a great day.